Well, welcome. I am. I was also watching the inauguration of the president, so I know that a lot of you are busy following the streaming of that event. But we all have to do what we have to do. President Ali, Irfan Ali has to be sworn in. I have to do what I have to do. So I can't put my show and my responsibility on hold because Irfan Ali is being sworn in a second time as president. He has his job, I have my job. Of course. So for those of you who can switch between, you can always come back later and catch up on what I have here. And you can also go back later and watch the inauguration again. It is not going anywhere. Neither of us. They are not going to delete that feed after. You can watch it again. In the same way, you can come back later and watch my show. Either way, we both have what we have to do. So I was already scheduled for today. I'm a bit late. I scheduled for 12 o'clock, but nonetheless, I'm here. And I want to thank those of you who would decide to tune in and to join me, because you understand that I'm not mainstream. The stuff you hear here with me, you would not hear anywhere else. So this is why it's important that you find the time to listen to my broadcast, because you get information, you get insight, you get a different angle of the current situation, of the human situation from me that nobody else can deliver. Therefore, you have to make sure you keep that appointment with me, your precious gift. That is Dr. Love Prasad. On this Uncensored Guyana, and for those who are watching via TikTok, and I restarted another Facebook. It's now getting place. It will take some time to get back those thousands of followers, but it's not a problem. Stuff happens. But it's Sunday. What I'm happy about is that I heard, and I want to take responsibility for that. Seriously. At least give me the credit for that. After the previous show, I heard somehow Aubrey Norton was watching. He watched, and subsequently, I think a few hours after, within that time, within the time of my show ending to when Norton came out and made that public announcement that he conceded, a few hours. But I think I had something to do with that. So I think I want to take some credit for the fact that Aubrey Norton conceded and decided to throw in the towel, accept his fate, and move on. For that, I would say it's the most sensible thing you could have done, Aubrey. I'm not going to say I'm proud of you, but I respect that. But I wouldn't change what I've said before. I wouldn't change my position on that. All the drama wasn't necessary. You knew from the beginning that it wasn't necessary. So you just did what you thought your so-called base wanted. But you thought they wanted that. They didn't tell you they want you to, all the drama and trying to push for fresh elections and recount. Your base, the PNC base, didn't tell you That's what they wanted. Aubrey Norton, that's what you wanted. I can understand. You couldn't accept the fact that this Indian boy beat you. It's an embarrassment. I get it. But I hope you listened well to the points I've brought out. I hope you listened well. You should not have a problem with Azruddin Mohammed replacing you. You need to take responsibility for your own demise. But you cannot correct that. What has happened has happened. Your actions has gone into infinity. It would not be forgotten. It is already written on the conscience of the Afro-Guyanese. They would not forget or forgive you for the things you have done, while you have assumed that position as leader of the People's National Congress reform. And I want to make specific reference to the way you treated the black people, the way you sacrificed their sons, the way you discriminated against their daughters, the way you treat black women in general. They wouldn't forgive you for that. Your only recourse right now, Aubrey, is to quit. Is to resign as leader of the PNC, because you're no longer the opposition leader, and give that party a chance to regroup, to change whatever policies they may have had. Give them a chance. Step aside. You don't have to be the leader of the party to support the party, but you have to show your character as being unselfish. Step aside. Now is the chance, now is the time for you, Mr. Norton, to resign from the leadership of the party after subjecting the party to such a massive loss, an embarrassing loss. Never in the history of that party did the PNC ever or was ever reduced so low to 12 seats. Never. It's all reflective on the leader, on you. The Afro-Guyanese abandoned the PNC. They abandoned the AFC and all the black parties. They abandoned them. This is the time for all of you to understand that while you may claim that it's an African thing, it's not. It's an ideology thing. The people of Guyana, the Afro-Guyanese, don't want to be identified any longer with your ideology and the people who came up under you or around you or with you. They don't want to. Put the ego aside. It's over for you. You have 12 seats. I'm sure you will occupy one of the seats in the parliament. You and 12 others. But it's over. You have to resign, and you have to resign now. Not next year. Now you have to resign. And let the party meet and elect a suitable candidate. A suitable candidate. I suggest a female, not a single female. Select a woman who has good standing. Not a woman with tattoos. Not a woman who's known to have an ex-husband or 2 ex-husbands. I am sure in the PPP group the PNC group right now, I'm sure you can find a reputable female who has a family, who has stuck to her husband all her life, who has children, who has lived an exemplary life. I'm sure you can find one. Find one. Not a woman that has stain. Not this club type, street type, brawling type, ghetto type, loudmouth. No, refined, exquisite, elegant, sophisticated. That's the kind of leader now the Afro-Guyanese need. No more ghetto talk. No more rough language. No more baggy, saggy, no, none of that. None of that. You have to lift the moral standard of the Afro-Guyanese. And it has to be reflective of the leader. So come out of the ghetto mentality. Come out of the ghetto mentality. Otherwise, the PNC would not survive the next election. You have 5 years to correct this. Drain yourself from the ghetto culture. Bring the people of the ghetto into a modernized mentality. Bring them out. When you bring them out, that's the first step in fighting crime. The first step in fighting crime is to change the mentality of your people. They must understand that they're not for sale. They're not for sale. Look at what you did. You caused this to happen, Aubrey. You caused this to happen. 12 seats. Imagine that. That's a disgrace. Even without me suggesting that you resign, the party, if they have any kind of morals, any kind of ambition, the party of itself should hold an emergency Congress, emergency meeting, and they should vote you, Mahipal, and this Fernandez woman. Vote you out of the leadership. That should happen now. Don't wait for the next Congress. You need to rid the party of you, Mahipal, and this other woman. And you must recall, not you, the PNC executive, the council, whatever, I don't know how this thing works with you guys. But these 3 commissioners, GCON commissioners, they must be recalled. Vincent Alexander and the other 2, they must be recalled. Fire them. You know what fire is, right? Fire Vincent Alexander and the other 2 GCOM commissioners. Fire them. They're also the reason why the PNC is dying. The PNC is sick. Forget the APNU stuff, because all those other coalition, a partnership for national unity, whoever the partnership is, useless. Because that partnership brought 0 votes. So forget about that. We're talking about the PNC, the People's National Congress. All right, Aubrey? I'm going to stay on this point for the next 5 years. I'll stay on this point. You need to go. I'm firing you. You know what? Norton, you're fired. All 3 commissioners from the PNC, you're fired. Joretta Fernandez, you're fired. Mahipal, you're fired. I'm firing you. You're fired. If you occupy the membership of the parliament for the PNC, you are, in my eyes, not legitimate. You are illegally occupying the seat of parliament for the PNC. I'm saying it. You need to go. You need to go. Now, secondly, now I've already talked about, I don't have to keep congratulating Ali. I've done it many times. He's now president again, legally. So President Irfan Ali, for the next 5 years, 4 years, I would like to see you deliver, your government deliver on everything you said in that speech you made today. I want to see that. I also want to acknowledge, and I'll give you credit for this, I want to acknowledge in your short video yesterday, you did much better than the vice president, Bar Jangbio, in terms of your humility and your gracefulness in recognizing that your success and the PPP's success was largely made possible by people who were not recognized. Largely made possible. And that's a smart move. You were repetitive in that. It seemed as though you wanted to send a message to say, hey, you see, I'm thanking you. I get it. And I appreciate that. I understand. So I wouldn't hold that against you. You did your best to be inclusive and to make sure you cover every corner, that nobody felt as if their services were not recognized. So I felt appreciated. I want you to know that. I heard you. I felt appreciated. And thank you. But tell your people. Tell your people. This position that I hold right now is a very powerful position. Extreme influence. I would not utilize my talent, my intelligence, my platform, everything in my being, sacrifice all that I have sacrificed so that the PPP win an election by such a large margin just for a government position. I wouldn't do that. A government position, the only position that would make sense to me is a minister of government or somebody that is indispensable. Anything beneath that is beneath me, is below me. Anything beneath that is below me. I would not do all of this according to some of your supporters because I'm looking for a government job. I think it's disrespectful to me that you think that a government, I just want to know what runs through some of your minds, man. What runs through your brain? You think any government employee or even cabinet employee, cabinet ministers, you think any of them could have had the influence I've had for the past few months? That I would do all of that because I want some government position where I would take orders for somebody who's beneath me for a mandated salary that I can't even use to fill my car tank? It's ridiculous. Even if I had to be paid for what I've done, you are talking tens of thousands of US dollars. Or maybe millions of Guyanese dollars. There's no price attached to the sacrifices I've made for the PPP. And I'm speaking for me. I'm not speaking for the other people who use their platform, their influence to boost President Ali's chance at the PPP of such a wide margin of victory. I wanted 40 seats. We got 36. The reason why we did not get the 40 It is because a lot of people were still turned off because they see that the candidates were not candidates that they desire. Even candidates on the PPP's list turned off some people from coming out to vote. This was not just about you, President Ali. This was about people in your camp, people on the list that the public wanted no associations with. That's what also caused a lot of people not to come out to vote. So people like me had to practically pressure people, coerce people, seduce them, beg them to distract them from all of that. This is why I've never focused, in all I did, I've never focused on the people on the list. My focus was on two persons, Jaglio and Ali. I didn't focus on the prime minister. I didn't focus on none of the cabinet ministers or none of the persons who were on the list, none of the regional. I focused on none of them. Because if I knew if I had, that would defeat my cause. People didn't want to hear about some of those people. So yes, some of the voters were turned away because they're like, I don't want these people again. So I had to spend my time, most of my time, on Ali and Jagdeo, because a lot of the people on the list were not people I want to talk about. They're losers. The PNC worst. So, you acknowledged? That's good. But I want to reiterate what I said before. For any of you PPP supporters to even think that I, Dr. Love Prasad, would use my show, my presence, and everything that I have for the PPP to win so that I can secure some mediocre job, some low-life job, you're disrespectful to me. Disrespectful. So let's move on. I followed a lot of things on there. I'm going off script because I observed, and I'm following a lot of things on the whole inauguration stuff. Now, I was expecting a larger crowd. Seriously. I was expecting a larger crowd. It's Sunday, it's the morning, the sun is not that hot, the weather is good. I wanted more people to go out because the crowds that attended the rallies of the PPP at nights were massive. Thousands of people. That's the rally. The fact that our candidate got the job, the fact that Guyanese told President Ali, we reviewed your contract for the past 5 years, we reviewed your performance, and therefore we extend your contract, and by virtue of that, I did tell the Guyanese to go out and vote and tell Ali by voting that you approve of him getting a second term. Massively. The fact that the PPP won this time by over 40-something thousand plus votes, I expected a jam-packed crowd at the inauguration today. That's like a PNC rally. The crowd I see there today is like a PNC rally. Where are the people? This is what we wanted. You is what we wanted, Ali. Where are the people? I wanted to see crowds there. If it was a case that people would have used their own transportation, or the party would have provided transportation during the rally to bus people to different locations, why wasn't that arrangement made to accommodate or facilitate people's transportation to the inauguration? Today is the time you need to bring the people out so the world can see, hey, The people didn't just go out and voted for their candidate, they came out in their large numbers to celebrate the win of their party. Today is when you needed to have those transportation and buses available to bring the people out. But that's already over. My next point is, I hate it when politicians, when they get elected, they do this. I hate when they do this. I've said on many occasions in the past, and I said this to President Ali during the campaign period, the people that you were focusing on are not the people who elected you as president 2020, because you won by 6,000 votes. You largely won the election 2020 because of the Indo-Guyanese who voted. The Indo-Guyanese, the average Indo-Guyanese made you president 2020. I said, don't neglect them. Don't turn your back on them for whatever you think you deserve with the other ethnic groups. This time, I look around at the inauguration and I can't recognize much Indo-Guyanese in the crowd. I see a lot of other people, but you would think that you would have a large audience there of Indo-Guyanese. I pay attention to that. Regardless of the 40,000 plus votes, which may have come from the Afro-Guyanese, the PPP got over 200,000 plus. The 200,000 are Indo-Guyanese. The plus are the others. Recognize them first. I get it. You're the president for all the people, but understand, your victory came 2020 and 2025 largely by Indo-Guyanese support. Recognize them first. Would it make you sound racial? I don't have to go into semantics as to how you do this. I'm just being plain spoken on this live. But you know exactly what I mean. Guyana is a sovereign nation. And I want to say there's something that a lot of countries do, politicians do. They give special treatment, special accommodation, special acknowledgement to international diplomatic community. Fuck the diplomatic community. That's what I say. That's what I say. When there's a crisis in a country, when there are problems within the country, what role do they play? No diplomatic community voted in the September 1st election. None of them. The people who voted are the Guyanese, the average Guyanese. They voted. I don't like the fact that every time they have these inauguration, you have to fly somebody from another country, you have to fly this one, fly that one, and give them special treatment. Like if them being there legitimizes, confirms, adds something, some validity to the election. I don't care which government or which country sends congratulations. I don't give a fuck. My point is they didn't vote for you. So whether America or China or India or Barbados or whoever want to send congratulations, it's not breaking news. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that. If they want to come, they come. But there shouldn't be any special invitation to bring people to attend an inauguration and then give them a special place on the stage. when the average Guyanese who voted, who stood in line, who endured the sleepless nights, the fear, who used their platform, who used their resources to make sure that you win, they're somewhere lost in the crowd, or they can't make it. They're not treated special. They're told they're special, but they're not treated special. Then after that, you have this special ball, this special ceremony at some fancy 5-star hotel where all these dignitaries attend with their wives, fancy suits, the president's ball, inauguration ball, closed door with a ticket, security, only 200 people. Only 200 people, and none of them voted for your success. The people who voted for your success, they get to see it live. They get to hear it in a message. But to enjoy the air-conditioned accommodation, the 5-star food, the in-house elite sophistication, they don't get that. The foreigners get that. Oh, the prime ministers and ministers and government, oh, they get that treatment. And they did not contribute anything to the win. Nothing. That's what I have a problem with. If there had to be a special ball, the same way how you have these shows, you bring some artists from somewhere, you have this big screen and then people come and you get a free pass and everybody comes celebrate. That's how you treat the people who voted for you. You don't have a special ceremony with dignitaries. They're not important. I said, they're not important. Dignitaries didn't vote for you. The Guyanese people did. And the fact that you politicians keep doing this shit, you're giving special treatment to some fucking president from some other country, and your own people who put their neck on the line for you, they don't get a special invitation on the mail. They don't get a special email with special accommodation at some special hotel to come and, no, they don't get that. All they get is a video message thanking them. That's all they get. And the people who didn't play a role in the election or re-election of a candidate don't get that special treatment. What, because there are tens of thousands? That's my point. That is my point. There's always a second time. And I said before, 2030 is just around the corner. Just around the corner. You people better start treating Guyanese with more respect. You better start treating Guyanese with more respect. Let me put this down. Because I had another train of thoughts to share today, but I see that I have to go in a different direction. I hold on this point. President Irfan Ali, you seem to be a people's person, but you would know that there was a low turnout at the elections. The high turnout in 2020, despite the COVID, it was because there was a battle. Indian against black. That's how the politicians were presenting it. The competition was high. The struggle was real. Despite the risk of contamination, people just say, no, I got to vote to make a statement. And what was the difference? 6,000. The people who decided this time to stay away were not the Amerindians, because they're a small group. Were not the Chinese or the others, they're a small group. The people who stayed away this time from the voting are the Afro-Guyanese. The Indo-Guyanese came out in their numbers, in their thousands, because people like me begged them to do it. Because we didn't want to have the PNC get a chance under Aubrey Norton. Because Aubrey Norton stood for nothing good. He and his camp. The fact that he's presenting with himself two other persons, Mahi Paul and this woman, people of questionable characters, questionable morals, a threat to the Christian community's ideology. The fact that these three people were the face that the blacks had to decide, it was not going to happen. It was not going to happen. So I am happy that the blacks stayed home. I'm happy. I would have loved for them to vote for the PPP instead, which a large amount of them did. Thousands of Afro-Guyanese voted for the PPP. It was not because of the grassroots people who went out and knocked on the door. No. It was because of a lot of trusted Afro-Guyanese voices on the internet, on platform, that communicated subtle messages to the Afro-Guyanese community and helped them to see the difference. That's how they voted for the PPP. That's how. Now, a large percentage remain home. Look at this. It's a blessing to the PPP and you, Irfan Ali, now President Irfan Ali, that large percentage of blacks stayed home. It's a blessing. Let me tell you why. If they had come out with their frustration with Norton, if they had come out, the possibility exists that they could have very well voted for Win. Very well. And if they had, if that 30% of blacks that stayed home had come out and voted for Win, where would that put you? Where? This is why you have Azruddin Mohammed crying. Not literally, figuratively. Because he got that assurance and the confidence from whoever else was whispering in his ears that the blacks will vote for him. And he can convince a lot of the Indo-Guyanese to come on board. If that reality became realistic and the blacks had voted largely for Win, along with some Indian votes, there is no way the PPP would have secured this victory. Those are the facts. So the fact that the blacks stayed home, it's a blessing to the PPP. It's not good, but under the circumstances, it's a blessing. If the election calls again, Azruddin Mohammed would not have a chance. Aubrey Norton would not have a chance. People will remain home. They wouldn't come out. But the PPP might secure the 40 seats. Now look what Aubrey Norton did. I have to keep pressing this so the black people understand how he screwed up. He caused a large percent that contributed to 16 seats, contributed to 16 seats. If Win wasn't there, 16 and 12 is what? 28 plus 1, 29. The PNC had a chance to secure 29 seats if Win wasn't in the game. And if the PNC had a better candidate whose faces were there, the 29 seat that if Win wasn't there, the PNC would have secured, that is guaranteed. If they had a better candidate, besides Norton, besides Mahipal, besides Fernandez, how much seat would they have needed to win the presidency? How much more? 4, 5, 6? It was possible. So it's a blessing to the PPP that those blacks stayed home. It's a blessing to the PPP that Aubrey Norton was the presidential candidate. It's a blessing to the PPP that Nigel Hughes and all these people had questionable characters and they turned off the Afro-Guyanese. It's a blessing to the PPP that Win came in the race. Azruddin Mohammed offered a gift to the People's Progressive Party by his presence in the game. The fact that he is now the opposition leader, that is a gift to the People's Progressive Party. Not a curse, a gift. Because now the People's Progressive Party has no excuse when it comes to delivering the services, getting the laws passed, getting the programs. They have no excuse. Because Azruddin Mohammed is controllable. He is an opportunist. He's a gold digger. And he would say yes anyhow. They have no excuse. This will be the worst opposition party in the history of Guyana. This party now, Win. The worst opposition party in the history of government in Guyana since independence. The worst. Look what you did, Norton. Because of you. Look who is going to sit in the parliament now. Because of you. Doggy. Doggy is going to be a parliamentarian because of you. And he's just one. You have this Odessa woman and all the others from Win. Because of you, Norton. Look at how you have reduced that house, the people's house. You reduced it to a scum, to a slum, to a ghetto. You did, Norton. That it now houses the ghetto. They moved in. Doggy and his friends, Win and company, moved in. Your government now has to consult with that to push your country forward. Tell me if you see a great future ahead, knowing that this is the other side the government needs to consult with. Yes, they have the majority of the parliament, 36 seats, yeah, but that's not the point. That's not the point. Balance. Because of you, Norton, your selfish, egotistical ways caused that. 16 seats Win has. 16 persons from the ghetto would be occupying the parliament. You saw what they did. They were fighting. They pushed all kinds of propaganda, lies, deception on social media. You see the crowd that follows Win. That's the crowd that will be in the parliament. Who would they be representing again? Who would the members of Win in the parliament be representing? Can somebody enlighten me? Which part of the country? What constituent? Azruddin was hoping that he can buy the presidency. Not even $1 billion, Azruddin, can buy the presidency of Guyana. That's a sacred position. Only God can appoint someone. And the godly people of Guyana would not sell the presidency to someone with the likes of you. They wouldn't do that. You bought your way into parliament thanks to a large percentage of the ghetto that do not use their brain capacity, their 1% mentality. But that's as much as you get. You can't buy the presidency. Never. And this is your first and your last chance. This will never happen again. Guyana will never make this mistake again. They got caught. They were sleeping. They took a lot for granted. So you got them while they were drunk, slumber, yeah, good. Lucky you. But this will never happen again. This is the only time you will be the opposition party or the opposition leader. Enjoy the next 4 years. That's it. The PNC can be restored. Afro-Guyanese, you are a great people. You've struggled enough. This is not the time for you to play with your future. This is not the time for you to be linked to sentiments. You've come too far. You have to stop giving people what they want and ask yourself the question, what do I want as an Afro-Guyanese? And what you don't want, what I can tell you that you don't want, is to have a leader like Aubrey Norton or an opposition party that doesn't represent you. WIN does not represent the Afro-Guyanese. Who do they represent? Guyana has two groups, Indo and African. The other 6 that we talk about, it is not reflective in the population. The population is largely Indo and Afro. The PNC are supposed to recognize and somehow support the ideology that is associated with Black culture. The PPP, thanks to Barnum, they were forced to hold a certain narrative. Now, the only way you can find shelter, Afro-Guyanese, in the PPP. Right now, your only choice for the next 5 years is to identify yourself with the PPP. At least they got your back. But Azruddin Mohammed can't say he represents Afro-Guyanese. And he definitely does not represent Indo-Guyanese. Who does he represent? The poor people? Okay. Who are the poor people? Does he want to say that the ghetto is the poor people? The Black people are the poor people? What poor people is he representing? You have to identify, you have to have an identity. What is his identity? His identity is the business class. He represents the business class. His family owns Georgetown. That's who he represents. The business class, the billionaire class, the contractors he represents. And the people under him, the 16 people who will be occupying the parliament with him, they'll be having a paycheck from the government and from the party. They're okay. They will drive their big cars with their bodyguards, compliments of Azruddin Mohammed, and they will get all the perks that comes with being a member of parliament from you, the taxpayers, all because of Aubrey Norton. If he was not selfish and egotistical and cheated those women out of the chance of being the leader of the PNC, it would not have been this case. Wynne would never have had a chance, never. So blame him. And Aubrey Norton should resign today. He should resign now. I am not identifying with that. If the PNC can pull their act together and get rid of all those people that brought embarrassment to them, drain the whatever elite class they call themselves, drain them, get rid of them, expel them, they have a chance at 2030 with a woman leading. So the next time you see an inauguration 2030, it could very well be the first female president from the PNC. 2030, very well be. I cannot say definitively now that whoever the candidate is for the PPP in 2030, that they will have a victory. I can't say that. Because I will not be backing, I've said it before, I am not putting my energy, my effort, my talent, my skills, and my blessings for no PPP candidate in 2030. I'm saying it now. That's over. I won't be doing it. I want to restore the PNC with the Chetty ideology, not the Barnum ideology. I want to bury the Barnum ideology with Barnum. Burn it, bury it, get rid of it. You need the opposition. I want Chetty's identity, Chetty's philosophy in the PNC. With that, they can win 2030. Because I'm disappointed that the PPP that we have today, they have drifted from Jaganite. They don't even mention the man's name anymore. I mean, in Irfan's inauguration speech, that was one of my biggest disappointments. I'll tell you like it is. What I'm seeing now with these guys, what I am seeing now, that they have won re-election, fine. They don't have to play nice anymore. From then, from the end of elections to now, not one of the PPP toppers mentioned Chetty Jagan. Not one of them. And today in Ali's speech, he didn't acknowledge Jagan. He didn't mention anything about Chetty Jagan. I'm disappointed. I'll tell you like it is, I'm disappointed. This is what I'm talking about. I'm going to continue Jagan's legacy. I will carry it on. I ain't a hypocrite. I'm not going to use it when elections come, but after I win, I'm going to forget about it. No. The PPP continued to gain victory and gain traction because of Jagan, not because of Ali or Jaglio. Jagan. And you people should never forget that. It's not President Ali or Vice President Jaglio. No, they have inherited Jagan. But you must never forget. Why should you guys be so ungrateful, man? Not even the American presidents, both Democrats and Republicans. They always refer, they always thank the founding fathers. They always do. Democrats or Republicans. They never disacknowledge them. They always give credit to the founding fathers. Always, often, they refer to them. And you're going to use Chetty only on the campaign trail, selectively. But when you win, it's not important anymore. I'm not done with that. I see it as being a betrayal. Some of you telling me I betray. I've what? What they call me again? Betrayer. I betrayed. Who the fuck did I betray? Who did I betray? I'm not even a member. I'm not a card-holding member of the PPP. My name is not in the book. So who have I betrayed? I get no incentive from the PPP party. So you tell me who I betrayed. Who? I am a self-proclaimed Jaganite. I am a self-proclaimed Jaganite. I have personally accepted, embraced, and I have this belief that Chetty hovers over me. I will never betray Chetty Jagan, even if I decide to endorse and to back a female presidential candidate for the PNC. That doesn't mean I've denounced Chetty. No. Chetty's value is always with me. I will always look out for the interests of the Guyanese people. And I will never, ever give credit to Burnham or anybody else. Guyana exists because of Chetty Jagan. If I have the chance, I will change the name of Georgetown to Chetty Town. These are things I've said, and I'll keep saying that. But I'm disappointed that he was not acknowledged in the speech of the president, Irfan Ali. Give him credit, man. Give Chetty credit. What, if you call Chetty's name, it would seem like you're racist? What shit is that? How many times don't the PNC people mention Burnham? How many times? Nobody tells them they're racial. The fact of the matter is, you need to give Chetty his due. There should have been special emphasis there on Chetty Jagan. Whenever the chance is there, a matter of fact, in the office of the president, I don't know what it looks like now, but they should have Jagan pictures there. They should. At Freedom House, somewhere there you should have a monument of Chetty Jagan. A monument. Come on, give the man his due. Now says Gunraj, is it? The government's GCOM commissioner. Says Gunraj, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your honesty, your eloquence, and your consistency in representing the good side of Guyanese professionalism. I'm honored you have represented GCOM well as a commissioner, and I think you're one of the best commissioner of GCOM that I've seen over the past recent years. Says, I think you're one of the best. And I'm thankful for your role. But you have to press even the PNC base so that they can fire Vincent Alexander and the other two commissioners. They are an embarrassment, they are a disgrace to GCOM, and they're total losers. They don't belong there. Retire them. There should be an age limit to certain functions. These men are edgy, maybe they're on crack or something, and they just fit, they're past midlife crisis. The issues that they have, it should not be solved using government resources. They should solve that somewhere else. But says Goodraj, I want to personally thank you for a job well done, for representing not only the government, but GCOM. You did a good job. I want to acknowledge that. And thank you for that. That's what I need in professionals in Guyana. That's what I need. Now back to the politics. President Irfan Ali, 5 years ahead. You've done well previous 5 years. But it was not good enough to bring out everybody. A lot of persons boycotted the elections. That need to be examined. And do your part to win over the black support. I'm not going back on my word. Win over the black support. It's better to do that. So the next election, even if they don't want to vote for the PPP, they'll vote for the PNC, not another party. It's better for you to have a PNC opposition in government than to have a group of thugs and criminals desecrating the parliament. If the parliament is cursed, you will get nothing done. Thank the universe that you have 36 seats, which you don't need much opposition support, but that's besides the point. The embarrassment is there now before the rest of the world to see. How Guyanese politics has declined. It's an embarrassment. And when you have these win people on their social media platform pushing that rhetoric, and the diaspora or the Guyanese themselves have to see, wait, this is what is representing. Who are they representing? Is going to turn more and more people away from the electoral system and from politics in Guyana. You want to bring them back. They must have proper representation. But what's done is done. So it is due for me to congratulate the Win people, Mr. Mohammed for being the opposition leader, Dougie for being a member of parliament. Despite the circumstances, they worked hard. It cost them a lot. They earn whatever they have. Enjoy. From this point, I'll treat them in the capacity that they occupy. But I say, Aubrey Norton, it's your fault. And you should resign today. Until next time, this is Dr. Lord Prasad saying, enjoy your rest. I am your servant. I'll continue to be your servant. I am a Jaganite first. A Jaganite first. Second, I serve you, the Guyanese people. Goodbye now.